Sam. They aren't like the old ones.
That's what I got them all.
Yeah, I'd say this is Samuel Young, and this is Pawnee, Oklahoma, July the 3rd, 1982, and this is at Sam's house at 210 Kansas Street. Is that correct? Okay. And Sam is agreeing to talk about himself this morning and answer some questions.
I'm speaking about my life many years ago, and maybe don't seem many years ago too, but didn't know and realizing that I was going to live up to be at this age. And in my early days, I to know my own father and to know my own mother, and I was really proud of them to know that they were my folks. So in days to come, well, as I went off to school one year in 1926 or 27, I came home one summer and my father passed away. And I believe June the 12th. Lost my father that time, and that was more than buggy days. They were cars, but that time was buggy days we call, and so only being the only man of the house, my mother and I and my sister, they decided to keep me out of school, so I didn't get to finish high school or go on any higher education. But due to the fact of we were living on a farm 8 miles west of Pawnee on my mother's homestead, and that time, well, we were sharecropping, and sometimes we planted our own crop we raised there. But that year after my father died, well, I was told to stay out to gather the crop that was out there and the sharecrop we were getting, such as a third of the wheat or corn or just whatever it was that was planted out there, cotton in them days. And I never realized a time where I was thinking that I was too good to not stay at home. Love my home, love my folks there, and so I didn't get to finish school. Later on, I've worked all my life, I guess, to know how to do this and how to do that. But later on, after I didn't go to school, I began to pick up odd jobs here and there, such as painting inside and outside of houses, papering houses, or rough carpenter they call, or carpenter helper. Just different things that I could get a job to make a living on. But there were a lot of things that I didn't like to do that I'd done to know that that is my bread and butter. But I learned to know that it was no disgrace to work. And later on, I came along in 1929, I imagine. I I met my wife there. She was an Oto woman. Got together and we lived out in a home place. From there on, we carried on and we finally, the Lord led us into a minister work, Pentecost, free Pentecost. And we've seen some wonderful things happen for people and where we went. And it wasn't us doing that healing or anything like that, but how the Lord operates as being just a mouthpiece and being an instrument of the Lord. And we enjoyed that. We got along nicely about it and began to understand the work later as we went along. We were called in different towns such as Anadarko and Carnegie, Hobart, on up that with them, Cheyenne and Arapaho countries, and down Lawton, different places where we held some services. Then we got to picking up some material. We finally built a little shack we call a church. It wasn't a large congregation, but what there was, I really appreciate them. And today, as I look back again, I really miss them workers I had. About 3 punk men and my wife and 2 or 3 other couples. And they've all gone now and all passed away the last few 6 and 7 years. And out of that bunch, I happen to be the only one living now, and off and on I'm called to hold services, and I'm still trying to enjoy it. But later on, my daughter seemed to notice that my health wasn't standing like it ought to or have been. So she asked me to move to town. They had a extra house they want me to live in, and 3-room house. They cleaned it up for me. I stayed there for about 2, 3 years, and I never did live in town before, and I kind of dreaded because I just been used to born and raised out in the country. Well, seemed like everything was good for me out there. Nothing wrong with town life, but I like to have something to do. When I was out there on the farm, I always found something to do, and I'm not a smart man who like to work and all that, but some way I just couldn't stand it, just lay around and day in and day out and taking life easy. I knew there was work to be done. But anyhow, after I moved to town, I went over to the reserve they call, and they offered me a job over there as a custodian. And I worked over there for 3 years, enjoyed it, back and forth, driving back and forth, and until a couple of years ago, I believe it was, and something happened to me that I never did experience, and I don't know, I don't know whether everybody's that way or not, but there was 2 or 3 buildings I worked in over there, and there was one that had air conditioning. I don't think it was set up right, or I don't know nothing about them. But during them hot days, I work outside and go in that building. I began to notice something about it that it looked like it's affecting my throat. And I just thought, well, it's just like a summer cold or something that I used to get. But it went on, got worse, where I believe I went about 2 years speechless. Couldn't sing, couldn't pray, and couldn't talk. And oh, I missed some wonderful visit with people that came, and I just told them they had to excuse me. I'm one that can carry on conversation and entertain people, but that time I just couldn't do it, and I'm not saying I got mad about it, but I just couldn't do anything about it. But believing and trusting in the Lord was something that I lean on, and I probably could have went to the hospital and got operated on that for that, but some way I just felt like I didn't want to go, and the Bible speaks about if my faith was large as a grain of a mustard seed, I could remove mountains. That didn't mean the natural mountains out there, the hills. It means in the body here, this temple that I live in, that I could remove them things there. But it came to pass that I promised the Lord if I ever got out of bed, been in the hospital twice, once, heart attack I heard. Later on, well, I kind of got sick again, went back, and after I got out, well, found out that I was diabetic. And that really pulled me down in my health, and seemed like diabetic people, I guess they know how to take care of themselves and how they adjust themselves. But me being fresh into that, well, I don't know the ropes too well. But anyhow, I really think, praise the Lord, today that I'm up and around, and there's been a lot of prayers that went out for me to get out of bed and come back and be among my people and be around companies. They have different doings that's going on, and go and enjoy myself with them, fellowship with them, and seem like I believe that the Lord is, I've been told, I've been prophesied over that the Lord wasn't through with me yet. But I thank God anyhow for what little I'm doing in His day and hour. Have people come to my home off and on, and have church gathering and fellowship like that, and that's my enjoyment today. And I'm really thankful to many of our friends and relatives, far and near, regardless of color and creed, that they were so nice about me, for me to, they could see me again. I get long distance call and asking about me, and they keep telling me they're praying for me yet, and I'm really thankful for that. And I always tell the Lord a lot of times that whatever it is, or whoever that person is, was so sincere about their prayer about me getting back on out of bed and back on my feet going. Some way, somehow, maybe you could bless that individual person for me, whether it's a man or woman, boy or girl, regardless who it might be. But I want the world to know that I really thank God for what He's doing in this day and hour. And so maybe there's many things to be done yet, a lot of things to be done, but seem like I'm not really up to it in strength and health. But what I can do, I'm always too glad to try to do something for people. And there's one thing that I asked the Lord about it. I wish He'd give me that blessing of having sympathy for people and to have a compassion for people that I could be of help and whatever it could be that I could maybe just say some encouraging words or just make them laugh or bring a smile to them or something. And when I see that, well, I feel happy. It seems like I've accomplished something. But I'm still asking God for more strength and whatever He may have in store for me and whatever portion that He may have for me that'll be good. I want to be ready to accept it. So these are the few things that I've come along and in my life, had my ups and downs, but still trying to rejoice over the see morning come and thank the Lord for it as the day goes by. And so I just hope that the Lord will continue taking care of me and whatever He undertakes for me to do, that I can be a blessing to somebody else. And this is my words this morning, and I can truly say that I'm thankful to the Lord this morning, and I can thank Him probably all day and all night, but still that doesn't pay off any. But I'm glad that I have given my life to Him, that He can use me. I'm not my own anymore. So what I try to do and what I try to say, I'm going to try to speak truthfully to people and to my fellow man and try to be that man. And I get a lot of persecution and made fun of like that, but that's all right. I enjoy it anyhow, and thank God for all His blessings and His care for me. And I just hope that somebody may hear this message, that there might be something that she might learn from it, and because I'm really happy today to keep on rejoicing. And if there's anything I left out, I hope that you might understand it. And maybe a lot of people don't understand me, but still trying to make an effort of it, whatever it is that I can try to go on. I've met a lot of friends and made new friends since I came out of the hospital, and I'm still rejoicing over it there. And I just hope everything well for other people that might come in contact with before the day is over.
Sam, thank you for saying those words. I appreciate them because I remember um, back when you were ill and everyone was praying for you and hoping for the best. And I know when you lost your voice, what a burden that must have been
Yeah.
for so long. Because, you know, if you can't talk to people and you can't answer questions and you can't, you know, discuss things with people,
Yeah.
you live in a world that's very silent. So I know everyone was happy to see you. The first time I saw you dancing again, you know,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen you dancing for about maybe 15 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you remember the first time I saw you, Sam? That was the first time that I came to Pawnee, and that was over at the Women's Building. It must have been about 1961 or 62, and I sat right behind you,
Yeah.
and you were sitting on the bench there, and Jimmy, you know, Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
Jimmy had invited me to come up to the dance, and that was the first time I saw Sam, and he was dancing then. What made you decide to dance again? Because for so many years, I gather you didn't believe in dancing. You know, you had your other work.
Well, I I'm glad that I never did say I quit.
Yes.
You know, some people say they quit smoking and drinking and
Mm-hmm.
they're back at it again, you know. But I had a thought in my mind that if I had a chance to go back and dance again, well, that is my enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
That is with me now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Other people were there, forsake it, never come around, and
Mm-hmm.
but there was something about it that after I really got into the ministry work where it seemed like I just lost the joy of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I lost my wife, well,
Mm-hmm.
stayed around and seemed like the more I thought about it, well, kind of want to go back and,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. So this is.
people, people told me, why don't you come back and dance and we like to see you around and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And seemed like the more they said it, well, they began to encourage me that way.
That's good.
And I'm beginning to, you might say, like giving people names, you know,
Yes, Sam.
children.
Yes, tell me about that.
Yeah.
How come you are able to do that?
Um, some years back, there were two men, Stacy Medlock and Old Man Matthews, they call. And they were, our people are in four bands here. Skitty band and East band and South band. I belong to the West band. Well, I belong to the South band through my mother though, but born and raised out there, well, seemed like I just grew up like in that family, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in that band.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we live. And when they call on that band, well, they wasn't really calling me. They were calling my father and them, you know, to go and do what they had to do, ceremony or something, you know. And so after they began to thin out, well, these two old men I'm talking about, they went to work and cut up a little food, and they called our band, Chowee band, out there to this place. After we got out there, my mother and I, in this home, you know, great big room there, about twice as this room here again. On the east side, there was four pillars on the floor. They had chairs there, but they had pillars there. Food is set over here, and that old man sitting on a chair, and that one
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the floor there. And when I come in, well, that old man said, grandson, I said, this first pillar, second, third one, sit down over there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was all about, so I sat down there. Pretty soon another party come in. They made them occupy them pillars. They were all taken. And this man sitting on a chair, he's talking in and he said, now, there were a lot of people, women folks, in that room there. And he said, now, he said, I want to tell you people, this is our band here. He said, these men here, we seated them, reseat them now. Them's our chiefs of our band. And anytime you got anything or any information or something, you want them to help you, just come to these men.
Mm-hmm.
That way you won't have to go to them
Yeah.
other bands, you know.
Yeah.
They got their rulings over there. But these men here is representing our bands here. So I'm just telling you that. And anything you want them to do, we're giving them authority to go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in some things, you know, and
Yes.
so so we ate dinner. No, this old man, he got the first one and brought him, took him around his food, and
Mm-hmm.
set him down. Next one. And then when it was my turn, when he done it, while he took me around, he was talking to me. Just being a young man, the mother's all older man. And today, all the men are gone. Them people that seated us and them other three men, they're all gone, and I'm the only one out of that band now that living
Yes.
with them places, you know. And them people that were there, they witnessed.
Yes.
And anything they want to do is like here a while back, it started up where they come to me and asked me if I could change. Well, they know I could speak Hindi, you know,
Yes.
and kind of oh, you might say, kind of tell the people why in Indian. This boy ain't got no name, and this we're gonna call him this, and a lot of these names I can't interpret either, you know. They're just so I don't know. Takes a good educated person to
Translating.
translate them. But now horses and color of horses and birds like that, well, that ain't so bad, you know, like red eagle or white eagle and black eagle and young eagle and bear chief or, you know, and spotted horse and all like that, you know. But these names of our people, they're sure hard to, sometimes they're hard to say,
Yeah.
and there's always, look like, it was kind of remind me when people had a name, then got a middle name, then last name. Well, they always have some other name back there to start with, and that's the one I can't interpret
Yeah.
till you come back up to this last part of the name, you know, and then I could kind of explain it. Well, I got to going into that, they telling me to do that, and there's other people, I guess. There's other bands, and it always make me feel like sometimes that some people could say, well, there's other people could do that. Why do they have to get him? You know,
Oh.
seemed like I could feel that too. You know,
Oh, they
but
shouldn't feel like
but
that.
maybe they didn't tell. But I mean,
No, Sam.
it seemed like every dance, well, somebody comes along and say we'd like to have our daughter, or grandson,
Yeah.
and I would be glad about it. But I would just feel like there's somebody barking over there already. You know, but I'm not the one
No.
telling them people, let me
They're asking.
give them a name and like that. They come to me. Now tonight they want me to go down here at the campground and they want me to put a eagle feather on a man that's just not going to learn to dance. Probably already knows how to dance, but he hasn't been initiated into war dancing, you know.
Is that Hattie's?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So taking his stuff, and I was kind of hoping that that boy wasn't sick. I didn't know he was sick at all. Her son-in-law, and it seemed like he's debating on about coming or not come at all. And me, if he's gonna go through with it, well, I'm ready for him,
Good.
you know. But this other way, just go down and wait and don't make it. Well,
Well,
and
yeah.
kind of disappointing in a way too, you know.
Well, she said he was coming last night, Sam. I talked
Oh.
to Hattie. Yeah, she told me about it, and so I said, okay, I'll be there too.
Yeah,
So he'll be there.
yeah. They called me down in the narco like that for two men like that. I thought they were little boys, but they were
Grown men.
grown men, and went down there and done that for them. But
Were they Kiowas or Comanches?
no, they were Wichita.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they
Our relatives.
they're, I don't know whether I guess they're always their Emma Curlich's
Yes.
relatives,
Mhm.
grandsons, I think. So Alec took me in over there and brought me back again, and I was really treated nice down there.
Oh, that's good.
What time I was down there.
Alec Matthews. Well, I'm glad they've asked you to do that. Your father was a hereditary chief. Was this
Yes.
Brigham Young? Is that his
That
name?
was his first name.
What was his
He
second?
changed that to Philip Young.
Philip Young. And who was his father?
I don't believe he ever went into details about that. And he just mentioned my father, and that's all, you know.
His father was probably a chief too.
Yeah.
Because you're the only. The Pawnees have hereditary chiefs, and then they have all these appointed chiefs.
Yeah.
Like down at the chiefs down there last night were Philip Gover, the Skeety.
Yeah, they
and they're
a
Murdermore.
lot of them, they just barred them.
Yeah.
Just because they belong in them bands, you know.
Yeah, but they're not really chiefs.
No,
That's what
no.
Garland said. They just
Yeah.
appoint them.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jake, is he hereditary?
No.
Hiram Jake and the Jakes were not?
No.
No. The Ruwaks were,
Just
though.
because he's a veteran.
Okay.
See? And they brought them in there and they
Okay.
looked around my band over there and picked out a veteran from our band. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all right.
Yes.
And I don't want to just get in there and if they don't want me in there, well, I ain't going to mark about it. I used to say a lot of times that everybody wants to be a chief, but not enough Indian, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everybody wants to go for that. Oh, they can have my share if they wanted to, you know. And me, I'm just living and going along, and somebody call me away, somebody call me away, like that, you know, and just try to be
Helpful.